Hello everyone, just a quick word from your friendly editor/husband. For all of you who listen to So I'm Watching This Show and own an Android device, do me a favor. Go to the Google Play Store and download the Podcast Republic app. It's a fantastic app that allows you to get all of your favorite podcasts directly on your Android devices. I use the app and love it. I can search for the podcasts I want to listen to, select them as favorites, and have them all just a click away. Make sure you set So I'm Watching the Show as a favorite so you don't miss any new episodes. Again, the app is Podcast Republic, available on your Android device. Thanks!
Okay, episode 16. This one was labeled The Master on the DVR, but it was called something else on IMDb, so I'm not sure. But
well, I think it's also episode 17.
Oh.
The raid, because last week was big fun. I'm looking at IMDb.
Oh, okay.
It says Betty and Cheryl infiltrate the farm. Archie and Veronica help an ally from his past. Jughead attempts to put a stop to Riverdale's drug trade.
Yeah, it just was called The Master on my DVR.
Oh, weird.
So I broke it into 3 categories. So I guess is this how we want to do? I was going to say, I guess we'll start with the one we're most interested in, and that was Betty, Cheryl, and the farm.
Sure, yeah.
Kevin sucks.
I know, what the
fuck? That was my first note. I was very excited to do that. We'll get him back.
No, sure. But he's just very, like the opposite of what he was in that one episode when Tony insulted Betty's ponytail. He's like as opposite from that as he could possibly be.
Betty's ponytail is iconic and beyond reproach.
And this time it's like, excuse me, Betty, did you have something to share with the class?
Yeah, oh, it's so bad. Oh, that's so good. That's so true. I love Evelyn Evernever.
Oh my god, you're the worst.
She is so funny. Her name is Zoe de Grandmaison.
Oh, is that her? I wondered.
Yeah.
I saw her in the credits today.
Her eyes. She is doing so much eye acting on this show. Honestly,
I will agree with you to say that at this point, she's the only one who's bringing it acting-wise to go up against Lily Reinhart, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah, because I'll skip to it because you brought it up, but Lily did it. Oh, it was when Betty was actually talking to Edgar, and she was start from the beginning, and she did the tiniest smirk.
Yes, she did.
It was giving me Showgirls commentary. That's a sniff that deserves an Oscar.
100%. Lily needs an Emmy, yesterday.
It's so good. We're gonna end up writing a 32-page essay on Cheryl Blossom. She's so many different things.
She really is.
I love these times when she ends up being weirdly helpful, or because I said a bored Cheryl is a dangerous Cheryl, and I was like, well, 3 out of 5 times. Those are the 2 times it's kind of helpful. And so we got a Betty and Cheryl caper, and Cheryl came in as Cheryl as can be, and she was just like, I got this. She was like April Ludgate in the episode where they're drinking the moonshine.
Yes, yeah. The Swanson moonshine.
She was immediately like, I don't got this. And part of me was sort of I was allowing it because it was funny, and Madeline, the scene where she was crying in the bathroom with Evelyn Evernever.
Yeah.
And then just the smash cut to her being like, I'm on board. Oh. I was irritated at first because I was just seriously, what could they, how could they have gotten her brainwashed? Mm-hmm. And it turns out, I'm fine with it. I'll allow it. Not the ramifications, but the implications. I don't know. I'm so...
Because I want to know, is it real? Or is it more of the Gargoyle King stuff? Are they getting them high and showing them stuff?
That's what it's gotta be, but that's also we've been doing this, though. That's...
Well, and also Cheryl wasn't gone for days. It was not even the better part of an afternoon. How could she have gotten high and then sober again?
Yeah, I don't know. Because I do love, I forgot to mention last week that we had mentions of both Jason and Midge.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate when shows don't just completely forsake fallen characters.
Yeah.
And I mean, Jason is a huge presence on this show still. Mm-hmm. So I like it. I'm fine with it. I want to know, because I also wrote down a note where I was just like, don't think we forgot about the floating babies.
Yeah, no, I did not.
I mean, is that, are we seriously explaining that away as just Betty had a seizure, or is that going to come into play again in some capacity?
Well, I don't know. And what's funny also is that I had forgotten about the, like, mass seizures until I was, like, listening to one of our other episodes, and then I was like, what was actually causing that? Did we ever find out?
It was the Fizzle Rocks, was it not?
But not everybody was doing the Fizzle Rocks.
Then I thought it was like in the water or something.
Was it? Okay.
That might be Salem. I don't know.
Okay.
There's too many episodes. I don't remember.
Yeah, no, I agree. This should be like a tight 18.
Yeah, we'll get it previously on. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Edgar's pretty good. I'm okay. I'm okay with Chad Michael Murray. I thought he was too young at first. And then I proceeded to be like, there's plenty of young cult leaders. And he's also a snack.
He is quite the snack.
I got a freeze frame of Madeline where she's making the face. Like,
oh, really?
Full eye roll and everything, yeah. Oh, also beautiful scene with Mitch and Amick.
Yes. I wanted to bring that up, too.
When Betty called her out, and it was just a really good acting moment, because it's like you nailed it when you're like, we've really lost sight of Alice this season, and Metchin is doing what she can to keep the wheels on the track, Well,
honestly, with this reveal tonight, it kind of earns the whole thing for me. It's not that she's necessarily, I mean, she's still crazy depending on what is actually happening at the farm, but she has a real sincere reason for going there. She's seeing her dead son. I mean, like, that's enough incentive for her to have done everything she did, in my opinion, on this type of show.
Mm-hmm.
I get it now. Like, that to me is like, I would never have guessed that was the reason, but I'm satisfied with that being the reason. I can let go of my anger about them losing Alice.
At least a good 60 or 70% of it,
Yeah, I mean, I'm still a little frustrated because it took so long, but that's more a product of the episode order, not Alice or Metchin's performance. And so I was actually just, like, thrilled to find that out because it helped me so much.
We did say, right, that they are seeing their dead loved ones.
Yes.
Somehow. Okay.
I don't know if we actually said it, but Cheryl gets to, like, see Jason and...
she said in the flesh. It's weird.
And Alice said that spending time with him was the best thing ever, and I just am so worried.
I had forgotten his name was Charles. I just remembered Chick.
Well, yeah. What if it's just Edgar putting on different, like, prosthetic makeup?
You said that with Hiram?
Hiram, yeah.
Hiram was pretending to be Edgar, and you were like eyebrows and stuff.
I'm just waiting for like a Scooby-Doo reveal in one of these episodes at some point, and it's just like, I feel like it's not going to happen, but it should happen.
Mm-hmm. So I guess the medium plot, we have... I originally had them as two chunks, like two different things, then I merged them, but we have Archie and Mad Dog and Jughead and Gladys.
And Jughead's blade.
Oh, yeah. I laughed at the scene, I'm trying to pull it up, where Jughead was talking to Archie in Archie's kitchen.
Yeah.
Because he went on this, like, tirade, and I was just like, Jughead Jones, Archie does not understand a word you just said.
Oh, when he was talking about mutually assured destruction and stuff?
He was like, it's Cold War. I mean, the nuclear option is that I can tell my dad everything, but that could spell mutually assured destruction. So instead, the Serpents and I are just dismantling the drug trade piece by piece. And Archie was just like,
Just sipping his smoothie that I thought for sure for like a full minute he had made for Jughead in his own house.
Also, it's starting to look like maybe deputizing the teenage biker gang was like a bad idea.
What? No. You don't say.
But I was surprised at how happy I was to get Mad Dog back.
Yeah, me too. Although I was still under the impression he was dead, so...
No, he came back at the end of that episode.
At the end of that episode?
Yeah, whenever he died, he was not actually dead. We knew that.
Oh, I forgot then. There's too many episodes.
No, I was surprised at how much. And the whole time, I literally was like, into a lesser extent, Baby Teeth. And I was like, I was just real nervous for Baby Teeth the whole episode.
Yeah,
and
rightfully so, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Anytime they talk about Hiram, I just sort of like, I follow it enough that I follow it, but I can't actually diagram it.
Right.
So it's like Hiram's new prison is opening, and they were going to transfer them to start a new fight club. But then Archie pulled a favor from Veronica, who called the governor, who then weirdly introduced Archie to the governor as her ex-boyfriend. Like, that meant anything to that man. Like, it was all very strange.
You're totally right. It did strike me as weird. I was like, Veronica, this is too much information for the governor who doesn't care.
I was like, huh?
For the governor who barely wants to be in your house in the first place.
It was all very weird. So basically, Archie got Mad Dog and Baby Teeth out of jail. And poor Baby Teeth, because he was loving those hamburgers, man.
I know, he was so happy. He was so happy at Pops.
They were living in one of 2 gyms that Archie owns or works at.
Archie only owns one gym, but he has managed to poach Tom Keller from the gym where he was presumably getting paid to work so that he can be these, like, delinquent foster dad at the gym where he's not getting paid for anything.
I don't know why, but I encourage any storytelling route that gives Archie more responsibilities. Hear me out.
Well, sure. No, I agree with you because it's the only time I find him interesting.
And he needs something to do.
Yeah. When he has true life or death stakes on his hand, that like someone else's life and death stakes is when he's most interesting. When it's about himself, he gets mauled by a bear and 2 days later he's 100% fine and it's boring.
Fucking Elio, though. I don't know this guy. Cause
me neither. Me neither. I don't like him.
He's like an omnipresence, too. Like,
yeah, he just keeps popping up. He's like a cockroach.
It's like a whack-a-mole thing where I'm just like, oh, dear God.
Oh, he's over here now.
So I don't know, he stole Mad Dog? What? Oh, well, no, he got Mad Dog's grandma out of the Gargoyles apartment complex.
Well, he's gonna pay Mad Dog to fight.
Right. Fucking, I was on Jughead's side. The Gargoyles had guns. Yeah. I was like, whoa. Like, we've had a stray bullet, once or twice on this show.
Yeah.
But that was like, this show turned into fucking Daredevil, like Punisher.
I was gonna say Daredevil because the fucking hallway scene. Here's my deal, too. Whoever it was, I think it was Archie, was like, what happens if you run Gladys out of town? What happens to Jellybean? And I was like, who gives a shit about Jellybean?
Jellybean's fine.
I was like, first of all, Jellybean's gonna be fine. And second of all, we've dealt with a Jellybean-less world before. We can do it again. She's just not the priority.
Third of all, are we convinced Jellybean is not the one doing this?
Look, Jellybean has undercut Veronica's, like, mob leader age by, like, 6 years. Jellybean's getting it on the ground floor way younger.
Oh, man. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do glaze over a little bit, although they fucking played Grimes, We Appreciate Power.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that song. I love Grimes so much, but my eyes glaze over with the Gargoyles, and not as much the Serpents, although a little bit, to be honest. So, I mean, they were doing drugs, and then they wanted them to not be doing drugs, and so then they fought, and then the drugs are
It's not that they were doing drugs, it's that they're selling drugs. Yeah. As much as I love Gina Gershon, I'm also getting tired of Gladys.
Yeah, it's the same. It's a lot of the same.
Well, it's a lot of the same Hiram and Veronica stuff, and I'm just sort of like, I didn't need the Electra complex to go along with the Oedipus complex that you've been serving me for 2 seasons now. And I just, like, I
was enjoying Dark Gray Gladys.
Well, yeah, Dark Gray Gladys was fine, but I also, these parents, with the exception of, like, 3 of them, are too willing to do literal murder to their children.
Mm-hmm.
And I, like, that is quite a line to cross on a teen soap that airs at 8 p.m.,
I mean, Veronica called her dad out. Like, she was the truth and nothing but the truth. Because, I mean, it had been acknowledged on the show, but remember, we were sort of like, he's just trying to murder Archie. Why is nobody talking about this?
Oh, yeah.
They finally did, but... So, I don't know. It's also so funny with Jughead and Gladys being not only under the same roof, but the fucking Cooper house.
Yeah.
Because it's like they have these super intense, like, psychosexual, like, showdowns and then just go to bed.
Right.
It's really weird in a way that it's like leaning up against breaking the show.
Well, yeah, I totally agree. And also, I like... This plotline is kind of breaking FP at this point because he's not stupid, and we have no evidence to suggest that he would be so taken in by his love for Gladys that he would be able to ignore every evidence that she's doing something shady, and yet he's so mad at Jughead, and like that really chafes me because it doesn't make any sense from everything we've learned about FP before now.
See, because I'm afraid that the writers didn't actually know where they were going. Like, I'm afraid that they have a general idea, which doesn't mean how most shows work, but I think, you know, they got Gina Gershon and then decided to write more for her. And so it's like, if they're making it up as they go, it's going to cause little inconsistencies like this. And I don't know. We're not at Hiram levels with it, but
no. I mean, I'm still enjoying it more because I have like a preconceived love of Gina Gershon where I really don't care very much about Mark Consuelos.
And much like Showgirls, she knows what show she's on. Like,
Oh, yeah.
She's delivering an appropriately delicious performance.
Yeah.
But, and I said, rip baby teeth.
I know, right? Rude.
I laughed out loud when Jughead got Kurtz out of there and then gave Archie the go-ahead to participate in the fight. And he ran headfirst into the fight. I don't know why. I thought it was so funny. Like, he practically bent at the waist and ran straight into the fight.
I was going to say I did. It was kind of like a mix between bowling and also the goat when the goat turns back the goat from Stardust when he like goes to ram into the unicorn. Yeah.
It was just like we were getting the dynamics back that we've been missing so much. Even just the opening scene with Betty and Veronica, where it's like they can finish each other's sentences in a way that is rewarding to us for not for investing so much time in the show.
Yeah, and I mean, aside from the overshare that Veronica made, those Veronica and Archie scenes were so great. Like, that made me kind of care again about both of them.
And even just like even Jughead and Archie, just seeing them being together and working together. And it's like, because it's like it was always Archie comics. So in that regards, they're like cornered into the conceit of the show being about Archie. And it's like, and I'm fine with that. But he's not the most dynamic character on the show. And so the ways, like, I was liking him. I weirdly like him as a sidekick on his own show.
Yeah, no, totally.
I like him working with Jughead, you know, so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Veronica and Hiram and Hermione are on the show, and they said words at each other. I guess Hiram is divorcing Hermione because she tried to kill him a few times. Well, now it's annulled, but it started with a divorce. And they're showing their work enough. It's just...
But I don't care. They're showing their work, but I don't care.
Well, it's like being like, the stock market, you know, went up by like 10 points after it plummeted. I'm just like, I don't... that means...
Yeah, and I mean, Veronica's literally the only one who thinks her parents should still be together. Like, on the show and in the viewing audience at home. They're not good for each other. They don't like each other. It doesn't make any sense.
They did a good job of making me actually care about Hermione, because she's been on thin ice with both of us for a while. It's like, sometimes we like her, sometimes we don't, but I'm far more interested in her than I am Hiram.
Oh, yeah.
And this mob wife stuff is actually a little bit interesting for me. I did also laugh when she was trying to get them to go to therapy, and I forgot what Hiram said. And Veronica just said, "You wouldn't be the first mobster to see a therapist, Daddy." And I was like, that's funny.
That is true.
Again, the show is not for teenagers. This is for 30-somethings.
Right, yeah. Because there's no way that Veronica, who is 16, which means she was born in 2003.
We know how old 16-year-olds are, okay? We've done the math. Okay.
I'm just saying, she was born well after The Sopranos.
And analyze that, or analyze this. So yeah, but it was actually a little clever. I mean, my brain was shut off, so I wasn't trying to, but I didn't anticipate that Veronica had done that she had framed, and she didn't frame her mom, but she like...
Well, yeah, she like made a fake threat on her life.
There you go. So Monsignor annulled the wedding, so I honestly don't really understand how that makes any difference, but the show said it does, so...
Yeah, but the script said so.
Yeah. So it's like they're still separated, but other mobsters aren't gonna go after Hermione.
Well, he made that, like, show of solidarity with her by having her at that ribbon cutting and everything, so it's like she's still under his protection, but it's as if they were never married in the first place.
Yeah, I still want her to kill him.
Same.
That's how I predict. That's what I predict. I think we're gonna think it's her, and I think she's gonna turn it around and kill him.
Cool. Okay.
Because they established her killing what's his face, Sheriff McGee.
Minetta.
What was it?
Minetta.
I heard Manama, and I was like,
no, sorry,
like
Manamana.
Yeah. So, okay, I guess that's it.
All right. Well, I guess. Oh, we won't be back for a couple of weeks with Riverdale. They're taking a break till the 17th of April, so we'll be back that week.
Is this the hiatus? Is this the
no? There's like
hiatus or
4 episodes left, 4 or 6 episodes left.
No, I know, but do you think this break was planned, or do you think this is where production caught up?
This is probably where production caught up. So yeah, we will probably be addressing Luke Perry's death imminently.
All right.
Well, we will see you then.
Bye.
Bye.
I don't know about you, but I thought that episode was, for the most part, pretty peachy keen.
Yeah, I liked it.
Peachy fucking keen.
Yeah. That was solid.
I was waiting for you to say it, and then I was like, that might be just a little bit too.
No, that was a little too much. I haven't watched that movie in like 5 or 6 years.
We need to add it to our list.
I have been saying that. That movie is so fucking good. In case anybody's curious, this episode was called Jawbreaker.
I want to revisit it because I was a hair too young when I saw it.
That's the last time you saw it?
No. I've seen it a couple times since, but I still, like, I want to watch it as an adult.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Okay, go ahead.
That was
You were saying something. Oh, I thought you were saying something.
No, it's just great. The movie's great.
Yeah, there was just the one allusion to Jawbreaker. Well, I don't know. I guess
it did happen twice, though.
Yeah, it happened twice. It's gonna be our picture. It was so good.
Sweet, okay. Which one, with Tony or without?
With Tony, Tony. Evelyn Ever Never remains the best character on this show.
I mean, you're wrong because it's Betty, but Evelyn is
Betty
doing
you're right,
so
you're
much.
Right. But it's like I finally feel like all of Evelyn's weird lurking is paying off. She's such a shit. She's such this, like, she's so delicious. She's such a prissy little pot stirrer.
Well, and she's so smug. And she thinks for a single second that she can go up against Tony and Betty and win either instance.
I don't know.
Fucking
she's
ridiculous.
Apparently scrappy.
I believe she's scrappy. I believe Betty would eat her for lunch.
We'll see. Because Betty cracked. Betty threatened to kill her, and
the season's not over.
But she's going. No, I know that. But I'm like, she's going in like a Tracy Flick direction, where it's just
Evelyn. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
And it's just sort of like, you can win if you get sloppy. Evelyn could win, but I'm not actually rooting for Evelyn. Betty is the best character on the show, and really, Lily is the saving grace. Overall, I'm liking the back half more, and I wish this was 2 seasons, and I wish each season was 10 episodes long. I feel like we're saying it too much, but I don't care because it's true. It's just
I agree.
True. These episode orders are gonna ruin the show.
I agree with that too.
This should have been 2 completely different stories, because either story has been interesting. It's when we've been trying to weave them together. Because this episode, for the most part, felt like Riverdale. I was like, this is Riverdale. Like,
yeah, well, we had like multiple scenes of the 4 main people in the student union or whatever the fuck it is, just like telling each other what's going on. And that is what this show has been desperately missing all season, with, Archie and Juvie, and then Archie in the woods, and then Archie in the bunker. It's just like,
it's 2 things too many.
Exactly.
This show does so many crazy things. This is important, but I just had to say that Baby Teeth died from blood loss, from having his teeth pulled out pre-mortem.
Yeah, that's rough. I don't even think your mouth bleeds that much.
I was like, sweet leaping Jesus.
Yeah, that's really intense.
Wow. And the Gargoyle King was sending a warning or something. Gargoyle King's back. I don't know if we ever truly believed he was gone, but this is the kind of tomfoolery we could have cut off if we shaved a few episodes off the...
Right. Well, and I mean, going to the episode order, this is like slightly off topic, but I'm trying to catch up on a couple of things before they come back for their next seasons, and one of them is Lucifer. And so I was like, sweet, this season has like 13 episodes, or 16 episodes. I bet the next one does too. Season 3 has 26 episodes. And I was like, that is an absurd amount for an hour-long drama, and that is exactly the way. I mean, that's a procedural, so I feel like it's going to be a little bit less ridiculous, but I don't understand how these people don't understand that it's better to condense your story and tell it better. Then, like, we've had so much meandering on this season, and it just is very frustrating from a storytelling perspective, because I literally got to the point like 4 episodes ago where I was like, I don't care who's doing what or if the farm explodes and we lose all these characters. I'm just so tired.
Mm-hmm. So
I'm not anymore, if that's helpful.
Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't really follow Jughead and what's his dad's name? FP's plot. And I'm a little baffled as to why the show is insisting that Kurtz is a character. And
yeah, well, all they were trying to do was find out who was selling the like tainted batch of drugs.
I thought it was new because they're calling it G. It's like there's new Fizzle Rocks that turns people into werewolves, and they're calling it G. And I guess Kurtz is making it or selling it or something. But this was all a big lead up to the fact that he had like trapped Jellybean, which those are fine stakes. It's like whatever. I don't really care, but also it's like by default we don't want something bad to happen, you know?
Well, I mean, I care in so much as it's going to affect FP and Jughead.
Yeah.
But I don't give two shits about Jellybean in general.
I am just hanging on barely with the boxing stuff. I find boxing so stupid. And
I don't like boxing either.
It is. And it's like some of it, I will say that it suits the show. It suits the tone of the show. And this is, Riverdale is more a reason to explore genres and a specific kind of Americana, and so it really fits into that. And you know, even though they very, very clearly are teenagers with hard numbers, like ages stamped on them, I do enjoy, I feel like I have to choose my words carefully, I appreciate this full-fledged fantasy that we have going on here.
Oh, sure.
Because there's things happen, and I think the show does a fairly decent job towing this line, this fantasy line, because there were things happening in this episode where I was like, so not only is prostitution just fine in Riverdale, but those kids were teenagers sleeping with prostitutes.
Right.
And it was just fine. And I was like, okay. And the same with like the boxing and stuff. I was like, I'm fairly certain Fred has agency here. Like, I think he could be like, Archie, you're not doing this. I'm taking my son and going home. Like,
right. And I mean, that leads me to something that like, I understand that, and this, I'm sorry, this is kind of a downer. I get that Luke Perry died very suddenly, but like every time he's on screen, it feels like such a waste because I know they didn't get to film like a last scene with him or anything. And so he's just like making these goofy, oh no, Archie's getting hit in the faces. And I'm just like, oh, just like, it hurts my feelings every time.
Yeah. And he did get at least one little sage shot in there with Archie where he cautioned him about flying too close to the sun. And I'm what? Go ahead.
I'm not excited about this.
I'm not either.
About this nascent rivalry between Josie and Veronica that seems to be rearing its head.
Because the scene was enough, and then they even did the lean in. They did the lean in to kiss, and then stopped, and I was like, "Come on!" Yeah. I mean, the love triangles have their place and all that stuff, yada yada. But I'm not a Varchi shipper. You know, I'm starting to realize that I'm not really a shipper person. Like, I'm not like an OTP person. I mean, I have couples that I like, but I don't live and die by them the way I think some fans do. apparently.
I do on certain shows, but I don't on everything. And on a teen soap like this, I can't get that invested.
I also feel like the times where I'm the most passionate, if anything, I'm an anti-shipper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like...
yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I
also,
didn't
like,
really...
if it were up to me, I would, I've said this before, I would have it be Archie and Betty, so...
Yeah, I don't care for that, but... yeah, I don't know, but that's the thing is I like Betty and Jughead, but, like, if they broke up, it wouldn't ruin my world the way that it would ruin so many people on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I've had, like, 3 big ships in my life, and it's Spike and Buffy and Frank and Karen, and I can't even think of a third one right now.
I was gonna say, Styles and Lydia, or...
Yeah, but they, like, didn't lean into that hard enough, so I kind of let it go, and that's the thing. I just, like, I can't get that invested in every show, or my life would be miserable. Like, I wouldn't be able to function.
Mm-hmm. We had some, in my opinion, hard confirmation that this takes place in the same universe as Sabrina, because when the guy at the Maple Club turned into the werewolf, Penelope uttered out, "What on Eve's earth?"
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, well, that was a Sabrina blaspheme if I've ever heard one.
Well, and Sabrina, they talked about the Bulldogs on Sabrina.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, we just creamed the Bulldogs or something like that, and, like in a basketball game or something.
Probably the stuff that I liked the most with this episode was Alice and Betty's stuff.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, but we've been off and on with Alice's stuff, and we thought they flat lost her a time or two. And though I'm not really enjoying this, I feel like they are at least explaining it. They're at least earning the story. I know that Metchen and Lily have a very special relationship, and it's just very apparent on screen.
Yeah.
Their chemistry as mother and daughter, but also as, like, sort of like...
Well, colleagues.
Yeah, and like, Lily's the ingenue, and Metchen's the...
Former ingenue.
yeah, you know, and it's just like, their stuff was so good. They finally kind of explained some of Alice's things. I like this notion, honestly, that Alice is afraid of Betty.
Yeah, it felt a little like it came out of nowhere, but I do like it. I wish that it had been touched on sooner, but I like it.
I felt like we were sort of going back to where we started, like, we're finally going to pick this plot line up again, the Dark Betty stuff.
Yeah.
And I like that Betty is actually very concerned, which, I mean, that's one of the first step in, you know, being a monster is worrying about if you're a monster. So
yeah.
You've got that one, Betty. I'm nervous for Tony. I'm nervous because so far every other person we've sent into the farm
got actual brainwashed. I would wonder, I mean, Tony doesn't seem like she has the same emotional stakes in her life that the others do.
I would have said neither did Cheryl, but I didn't factor Jason in.
Yeah, Cheryl definitely does. I mean, Cheryl's got them coming out her ass. She's got Jason, she's got her dad, she's got Uncle Claudius, she's got her mom.
True.
I mean,
that's true.
Nana Rose is the only person who's ever been nice to her and her family.
And she's cuckoo. Well, she's not cuckoo. I said she's cuckoo, and I said well, she's not cuckoo. That was rude. She's old.
Nana Rose, yeah.
She's not entirely there, is what I meant. That was very rude of me. No, and I liked that they kind of addressed the trauma that Alice had with Hal. Yeah. You know, it's we sort of, because I had sort of forgotten that, and I was thinking of that as like, oh, that's last season. We're over that now.
Yeah, but Alice did live with a murderer for like 20 years.
Yeah. And I can see how that could send you into a cult.
For sure.
And I actually do like Mad Dog. I find him interesting, not in any real capacity. Yeah. When they all went to see Baby Teeth's grave, I was like, were you guys friends with Baby Teeth? And also, pick a side, Fangs. Pick a side.
Yeah, well, Baby Teeth was in Juvie also. Mm-hmm. They were all friends together in Juvie. Mm-hmm. But I agree with you about Fangs.
Natalie Bolt remains one of the better parts of the show. I would love to interview her and ask her at what points in the show's run did things escalate. Like, at what point did she realize what she had to work with?
Yeah.
She feels like it's not the same character as Victoria Argent, but it's in that adjacent type.
Yeah, they're like spiritual cousins.
Yeah. So we are making sure that Hal is still around.
Yeah, he definitely is. I mean, he's signed divorce papers now, but he's definitely still kicking.
Anytime that I've forgotten about him or we've like run the risk of forgetting about him, they make sure to trot Lachlan Monroe out.
Yeah.
I am actually very interested. I hope it's good. I do. I actually have high hopes for the reveal, but I'm interested in seeing what they're seeing at the farm.
Me too.
Because from where it stands now, it seems to be that they don't understand the person is dead.
Yeah, I don't know. And we only have 4 episodes left to figure it out.
That's enough time, the way that this show throttles through things.
Yeah, but I mean, it goes back again to the season order, where it's like, I would have preferred to have been done with something already. We still don't know who the real Gargoyle King is. We've still never been to the farm. We still don't know what any of the people are seeing.
I don't think that it's Hal, because I don't think that he's getting out of prison to go do it, but it's suspicious that, like, he was back in the same episode that the Gargoyle King was back. And, like,
yeah.
I mean, so help me God if now, because they're also making sure to keep Sheriff Keller around.
Yeah, it would be such a weird thing to reveal now all of a sudden, after he wasn't the Black Hood.
Yeah, I would hate that too. And the way that they've like set it up, it feels like it has to be someone we know.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess not as much as the Black Hood was, but
I mean, it could just be Gladys. She wasn't in this episode.
I would accept it being FP before I accept it being Gladys.
That's fair.
Skeet Ulrich has done this to us before.
Skeet Ulrich has done this to us before.
And that's the thing when I was talking about this stuff, is this show is not for kids. Like, this show is not for teenagers.
No, it's for
this show is for
30 plus people.
Oh, also, Archie apparently only weighs 154 pounds.
That's 100% false. That other guy got up there and he was like 159 pounds, and I was like, my ass.
Yeah, because that other guy was like 200.
That guy's a behemoth.
Yeah, okay.
And like Archie's a little bit shorter and he's like lean, but he's got some fucking muscle on him.
He's 5'11". I looked it up, so he is technically tall, because 5'10" is average.
Yeah.
But he's 5'11", and as I was watching it, I was like, I mean, he is absolutely lean, and I was like, and he's got a real narrow waist, which is nice, but it's like, I was just like, yeah, my ass.
I would believe he weighs like
180.
Well, I was gonna say 180. I would be like 175 at like almost the lowest.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous. No, those weights were. I don't know why you didn't just say they're real weights. There's literally no way he weighs 154 pounds.
What was the whole point of Elio? Do we know? Is there a point?
No, I can't find a point to Elio. I don't like him. He's super boring. But Veronica has balls of steel walking in that men's steam room totally naked.
I'm just sort of like, I don't know, does he want all their Dalmatians to make a coat? I don't understand what his motivations are. I guess he's just trying to take the gym. I don't know.
I don't know either. He is a little bit of a baffling character to me. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know.
The last thing I guess I'll say, and this is what I started saying with wanting to see what was in the farm, is Edgar at least made an argument that it gets results.
Yeah.
And do you remember that was something I floated earlier on, where I was like, what if the farm itself is a red herring? Like, what if it's actually this great thing, and all of our hostility towards it is misplaced, and that can't be true because of all the Scientology speak?
Right. Like, they may as well be auditing in there.
Yeah. Well, they are. Yeah. That's what the tapes are, but I don't know. I hope it's good. I actually do kind of have high hopes, because we put a lot of effort into this, a lot of work into this show, and I want to get at least half of it back.
Yeah, same.
So, in a way that, we'll see. I think, it's all but guaranteed a second season. I think we're all but guaranteed to watch and cover it.
It already got picked up.
Oh, it did? Okay.
Yeah.
I saw something about series low ratings, and CW tends to limp along with their shows a little bit, but
yeah, they do.
We'll see. We'll see how this ends. I don't want to say that the best is behind us, because if that were the case, then I would feel like it never. I don't know. We'll see. I was about to go in a post-mortem direction when we're not done. So
no, we're not done. We've got 4 more.
Yeah, so I am good now.
All right.
So.
Bye.
Okay, so we just watched Riverdale.
Yep, like always.
Well, we watched it together this time.
Oh, we did. That's true. We don't usually do that. We are 10 minutes out from the episode right now.
It was fun. You had some reactions.
I mean, do we want to get there immediately?
No. I was going to start with the Joneses.
Okay.
We have to keep up with the Joneses, apparently. It was fine. I guess to cut straight to the end, Gladys is leaving, which I'm actually strangely glad about because we love Gina Gershon and we've liked half of her material on this show.
Yeah. It's not that I even dislike the character. I think Gladys is interesting, and I think Gina Gershon continues to be like a ridiculous human person with a great deal of talent. My problem is that, like, I didn't need her to be the like full-on antagonist that she was.
Mm-hmm.
Where we already have Hiram. Like, Gladys could have been more gray, but she was like, it was all the fucking secrets. She was keeping so many secrets, and it's just terrible.
Well, I like this because presumably we'll keep her on file, so she'll show back up. You know, I would rather have her drop in and, like, make mess than...
Yeah, absolutely.
Than, like, have her be, well, the way Hiram, I think, should have been.
Right.
Versus, you know, having to keep Gina as a series regular and keep creating material for her.
Yeah, totally.
Although it does appear that we're keeping Jellybean, which, at this point, for me, at least, she's a blank slate. I mean, if they choose to make her interesting, she can become...
I'm fine with it now, after the, like, soft reboot they gave her last week, where she was, like, innocently playing Griffins and Gargoyles with a boy. Like, I was like, okay, this Jellybean can stay. The Jellybean who was, like, a sassy bitch to her dad the first time she'd seen him in 5 years, she can go away.
Well, they're still in the Cooper house, and it just is, it's odd. It's fundamentally wrong to me seeing them.
It is because so weird.
They, like, walked in, and I was like, what are you doing in Alice's house? And they've just
You know what else is weird?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that the Cooper house is some kind of wormhole.
Yes, I was going to say that.
Time was not passing in the Cooper house like it was in the outside world.
Well, I was going to say that they just put a serpent table in the middle of it, and that's the Joneses' version of the house. But yeah, Kurtz had Jellybean held hostage, but maybe he didn't. I still have no idea. Because it was news to her that, like, anything was going on, but also she had never been more relieved to see Jughead before. I was like, is that just how she greets him every day? Like, did you not find that odd?
I did. Odder now that you framed it that way.
Well, you already mentioned the wormhole because they were playing a game.
So maybe 0 time has passed for Jellybean as well.
Yeah. Because they were playing a game of Griffins and Gargoyles for Jellybean, like, over her.
And meanwhile, not to put too fine a point on the Showgirls references, but outside Betty has a fortune won and lost, and, like, somebody nearly vomits. There's 3 near car crashes.
It was
and it's
going
just
on
like,
for, like, 48 hours. There was an entire school day in between.
There was a full day and night while the Joneses were just, like, playing G&G with Kurtz in the Cooper house.
I feel like I'm heading for failure. I feel like I'm just going to be let down by both revelations at the end of the season because I don't understand Kurtz. Was he acting under orders? Because it's like he made them do all this shit. They had to rob Pops, which was actually kind of hilarious. And fucking Pops, man, at least he learns from history because he had a shotgun ready to go.
Pop is geared up now.
And then Gladys had to fight Penny. And with, like, non-sharp... What are those knives called?
Oh, God. I don't know. They're like the Elektra knives.
Yeah, the character Elektra. They're not knives that have a complex with their father.
No.
But they were, like, not even sharpened. It was, like, rounded. Like, it was like a pull cue.
Are they supposed to be sharp, though?
I thought you stabbed people with them. Are you just poking people with them?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to stab people with them.
It's called a sai, S-A-I.
Oh. I don't know.
They all look rounded on the end.
Okay, well that's how she ruptured a kidney. There you go.
Well, I think they're more like melee weapons. They're not like stabbing weapons. They're like beating weapons.
Oh, okay, whatever.
I'm not 100% sure that please.
She had one to Penny's throat, so I don't know.
She did have. I mean, you could stab somebody with a dull instrument.
But again, it was like a pull cue. That's like,
yeah, the basic form of the weapon is that of a blunted prong.
Okay, well, whatever, regardless. Because she also stabbed her in the leg. I wouldn't... okay, I'm done with this conversation.
No, I know you wouldn't. It's terrible. I wouldn't either. It's terrible. You have to stab so hard.
Yeah, the physics... No, it feels impractical. Like, the weapon feels like it doesn't work. Like, I mean, you could... are you going to stab someone with a baseball bat? But, okay. Yeah. So, anyways, Penny's still around, and she's the Cyclops now, and she's stabbed.
Yeah, Gladys did hella take her eye.
Yeah,
that was new information.
And then Kurt's locked Jughead in a refrigerator, which is how a lot of kids in like the 60s and 70s died.
Really?
Yeah, they would play hide and seek. The refrigerators used to latch.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know that's where a lot of like murder victims are found.
Yeah,
but.
And you can't get out once you're inside it.
Yeah.
So they had to, like, fix that. I remember my mom scaring the crap out of me because Pop-Up had all that crap up at his house. And she was like, don't get in anything. Then they got Jellybean free and Kurtz killed himself, I guess.
Oh, he did? I missed that.
He was, like, laying on the floor in a pool of blood when the Gargoyle King came out.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So he either killed himself or the Gargoyle King killed him. I don't know. I don't understand what's in it for all these people. I'm still going hard soul survivors with this. Like, I don't know why all of these people are so enthusiastically killing themselves.
I don't think this show can sustain that kind of storyline. Like, I get it. I get that would be like an explanation, but I don't think this show can.
And
that would be so fucking weird.
From there, we have Betty's storyline.
Oh, mama. The psychosexual disaster that is occurring on this show right now. I cannot. I screeched 3 times in a row.
You were like, it was like a seal. You were, well, no, because that makes it sound like it's like, but you were like, it was just this high pitched, like a seagull. It was like a seagull. Like... I mean, well, I forget why, but, of course, the farm is anti-vaxxers, so Evelyn Evernever can't get her vaccine.
Unbelievable!
And so Betty was doing research, and she found out that Evelyn Evernever has been a junior for the past 10 years in a row.
Right. So she, like, tells a social worker this because she's found out that Edgar wants to adopt Juniper and Dagwood, right. Which, in the first place, I don't know how legal that is because he's not marrying Polly.
No, he's marrying Alice. So he's trying to, like, weirdly adopt her grandkids.
Right, which is fucking weird. So that in the first place is bizarre. So then she finds out, so she calls a social worker because that's happening, and the social worker digs into it too, which thank fucking God, because I thought the social worker was going to end up being in on it.
Being in the farm?
Yeah. So the social worker keeps digging, and she finds out that not only is Evelyn Evernever 26, but she's also Edgar's wife?
Uh-huh.
What? Ah! I feel like I should have seen it coming. And I just hard did not. And so now
That's when you shrieked uncontrollably.
How many sister wives is Alice going to have? Definitely Edgar's daughter wife, Evelyn, but who else? Is he married to Polly already? Is she going to be wives with her daughter?
Well, remember Polly and Alice had that weird ceremony where it was like they got married. Like,
what on earth?
The Kevin and Fangs thing now is like so palatable.
Like, right? Ridiculous.
Which we've still never gotten any actual confirmation on that.
No, and is Fangs even still there? He wasn't there earlier.
In this episode. The budget was like at.
In addition to that, when Edgar, I like made a joke on Twitter because when Edgar was like listing off all of the people who were at the farm that Betty should feel happy there, I made that joke where it was like he looks at the smudged writing on his hand because he was like, your mother, Alice, is here. Your sister, Polly, is here. Your best friend. And it was like, Kelvin. It was like he didn't know who he was. He was like, he's here too. And I'm like, what is happening?
Well, so they got to Tony, which, I mean,
they did get to Tony.
Predicted.
I was honestly a little bit surprised.
I do want to pat myself on the back a little bit because I like called this Evelyn Evernever stuff like back in the beginning. I was like, this bitch is going places. But yeah, so they got to Tony. Well, before that, Betty went to her auntie. Hey, at least Penelope can get some shit done. Like, she may not have like fixed everything, but
well, she got again. Okay. Okay. I don't like to talk about the tweets a lot on the show, but I made another tweet and I was like, the psychosexual politics on the show are staggering. And that was when I found out that Edgar was adopting the babies. And then when Penelope went and rescued only the baby boy twin, only Dagwood, and she was like, little Jason Jr., and I literally just was like, staggering! The stakes on this show are staggering. I don't know how else to explain it. Everybody is in some weird psychosexual relationship. I mean, even Betty is dating her stepdad, kind of. She's dating her mother's ex-lover in, like, the new generation. It's fucked up. Fucked up.
Like,
also,
what?
we still don't know what is going on with Archie and Veronica and Hiram. That feels like a weird situation. Everything is fucked in this show.
Grabbing my business earlier.
Oh my god.
Well, we're at least entertained. I mean,
no, totally entertained.
You didn't see that coming.
I did not see that coming.
So Tony brings Betty into, like, the bowels of the cult where they're all standing there in their white clothes, quite literally chanting, "One of us."
Yeah.
What is that from? That's from a movie, right?
I don't know.
It's from, like, Children of the Corn or something.
Maybe.
And so they were trying. I honestly thought Betty was going to do it. I really did.
Just join. Just be like, fine.
Give in. But she fled, to which, like, Edgar Evernever pulled, like, a Wicked Witch of the West and was like, "Get her!" And so everybody went running.
And her little dog, too.
Everybody went running after her, and she drove off. And she also, like, visited her dad, who wants, like, a better room, I guess. So they made a deal. Betty and Veronica made a deal with Hiram to move him to the waterfront prison.
Yeah.
with the pool views.
Yeah, the water view or the river view rooms at my new prison are spectacular. And I'm like, what kind of prison you running?
And that was the bit, that question we have answers to.
Well, sure.
Non-legitimate ones. But that was the sting at the end of the episode, was that they were, like, transferring Hal, and there was some sort of accident and there were no survivors, so Hal is absolutely alive and out there somewhere.
There's literally no way he's dead.
Yeah, he caused the accident and faked his death.
For sure.
So, then I guess the third and final subplot was Archie and boxing. I didn't remember. He killed that guy? That guy died last week?
Yes, the guy died.
Okay.
We didn't find out he died until this week.
Yeah.
At the beginning, we found out he died.
Well, I was like, when Melissa Leo and the cast of The Wrestler came barging in. But then, because I just assumed she was his mother, I didn't give two thoughts about the fact that that woman was too young. And then later it was revealed that she was his sister, and then that she was his older sister. And yeah, I didn't
believe she was older than him. That guy looked road hard.
The 154-pound dude.
Yeah.
So he died, so everybody was mad at Archie because Archie killed him, and Archie didn't. So then they were going to put him in jail, and then she got him out, and then he had drugs that Mad Dog had given him, and then so they had to hide him so that the police didn't find him, but then the police caught them trying to hide them.
Yeah.
And then
I think they were going to flush them, but
yeah,
it's whatever.
And then Josie sang, I guess she's like Caesar that way, so it like... No, it was another joke.
I did want to say I was trying to make a joke, but I couldn't. I am bad at, like, Photoshop and stuff, but I found a picture of George Michael singing Careless Whisper, and I just was trying to change it to say I'm never gonna box again.
Oh.
Because Archie was like, immediately, he was like, I can't ever get back in the boxing ring, and I'm just like, Archie.
Well, when they were at the hospital and they were all mad at him for killing that dude, I was like, maybe this is why teenagers shouldn't be boxing.
Well, I mean, in the first place, the guy he killed was in his mid-30s.
Yeah.
But in the second place, you're right.
Well, and as we predicted, there was virtually no use of Luke Perry in this episode. So it is going to be very baffling when he's just gone.
Yeah, so this was his last episode, and I saw Roberto on Twitter today said they managed to have, like, a really great, nice, like, poignant scene together, and I'm like, bitch, where?
Yeah, did they?
I don't think so. And so I'm like extra
I guess in the beginning of the
disappointed.
episode he talked to him. Maybe.
I literally couldn't tell you what he said.
Yeah.
I'm just disappointed. I'm sad. I'm disappointed. It sucks.
Well, his character
It's
was
like a
lost
bummer.
this whole season.
Yeah. It just is very, very sad.
So then Josie sang and her dad pretended not to show up, but then he showed up, and then he was like, I meant to all along. And she was like, I love you, Dad. And she was like, but for real, get me out of here. And
now she's going to Katie Keene, which I think is premiering in the fall, no?
I think so.
Fall or spring, I assume.
Yeah. So, and she literally said that to Archie, she was like, we're not in game. And you looked right at me because that's what I said. I was like, they're not in game, but I was like, it's fun.
I mean, it's great. I thought it was great. And Archie was like, he seemed bummed, but like fine. And they're obviously setting up a Veronica reunion. So it's whatever. I think it's great. I liked their time together.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad that we didn't have to pit Veronica and Josie.
It did seem like that last week.
Yeah.
And they seem to have avoided it. So.
Also, it was at the end of that story, he gave the money to the woman and then she was happy. And
yeah,
I don't know. It was
nobody's character motivations on this show make sense. Like 90% of the time.
But the reveal at the end of the episode is that Elio is one of Hiram's lackeys. So it makes sense why we had this like weird antagonizing presence out of nowhere the second Hiram stopped being that.
Okay, I'm not sure he's been Hiram's dude the whole time though.
Well, I mean, they felt like they were in a fair amount of cahoots.
Well, I feel like they've known each other a long time. I don't feel like they've been in this level of cahoots the whole time. I think this is relatively new. Like, probably since Archie got since he gave Archie the boxing gym. I think he probably was like, Elio, do this one and do this. But yeah, I don't like Elio at
I do
all.
have to say, though, he has some of the best eyebrows on the show, but...
Sure, he's good looking, but what's the point?
Yeah. And there hasn't been any Reggie for like 2 weeks, it feels like. And
he was shooting The Sun Is Also a Star.
there hasn't been any Kevin. I mean, he was there, but...
Yeah, again, what's the point?
It's been very... I mean, honestly, we don't care about the Archie boxing storyline, so that's why we're ending on like a womp womp. But the 2/3 of the episode, 1/3 of the episode was thrilling, and then another third of the episode was mildly interesting. and then that was it. So we got 3 more weeks.
Yep.
I'm all in the farm. I just want farm.
Yeah, that's the thing is that's what I've been saying since the beginning of this season. So I'm sure everybody's super bored of it, but my whole thing has been finish one story and then focus on the next, but we are still dealing with the Gargoyle King and it is driving me absolutely bonkers. Because I wish we were done with the Gargoyle King and the back half was only about the farm.
Well, now I'm in a place where I'm like, is it how? I don't care how, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I mean, maybe. Who knows? I guess we'll see.
What if I just started talking really weird? So on today's episode...
Didn't know I was talking about Riverdale with Kermit the Frog today.
No, for some reason, in case that stays in, you thought I sounded weird.
Yeah.
And I think it should stay in because I think it was very brave of them to film this entire episode inside of a tin can.
Were you having audio problems?
Yeah, were you not?
No.
Oh, yeah. All of every single scene, all the audio. I assumed it was the CW because that's happened a few times where it's like... across the board, like across providers and
weird
services, because the commercials sounded fine, and they even played that like one scene again during the commercial break, and I was like, oh, so that's what that sounded like, not it's through a whirling
it sounded
fan.
Totally normal in here.
Oh. So, anyways, getting started. Okay. Riverdale is beyond good or bad at this point. I have no idea. At no point am I ever fully aware of what's happening. All I can say is, was I enjoying this or was I not? And by the end, I was fucking loving this.
Okay.
I don't know if that's because it was giving me Scream, and we liked the Scream TV show that MTV did, and they just stopped for some reason, but by the end of it, I was like, you know what? This was fun. I enjoyed this outing.
I mean, I also liked it. I know that I made the comment on Twitter a couple days ago when I saw the picture first, but I would like to join this cult. Just so that I can look at Edgar.
Oh.
Constantly.
Okay. I have never really, outside of House of Wax, I've never really watched Chad Michael Murray and things, but I always remember thinking he was cute. And if you remember that, like, still of him from House of Wax with the shirt off was my MySpace background for, like, a hot minute.
I do remember that.
But I really like what he's got going on. He's thin and, like, ripped.
Yep.
But he's kind of like an envelope. Like, he's thin, like he's the opposite of, like, barrel-chested.
Yeah.
I'm real into it. He's like a billboard. And I like where all the lines are and things and the nipples.
He's also very tall.
Yeah.
It was that whole scene
Jack
was
Skellington
working
thing
for me. Sexy cult leader. Yes, please. I will join.
Giving Chris Evans a run for his money.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I don't know. I did try to arrange my notes in, like, 4 to 5 groups, so... Well, actually, I was going to start with Betty, but no, let's not start with Betty. Let's start with Archie.
Okay.
We don't know what they're doing with... Oh my god, what's his dad's name?
Fred.
Fred! Oh, god, sorry. All I had was Hal.
No.
We don't know what they're doing with Fred. He's out of town, and they shipped Molly Ringwald in. What is her name?
Mary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
I only know that because I looked it up so I could make a joke on Twitter.
Molly Ringwald is her name. She's already doing gangbusters. She's already doing above and beyond what Fred has managed this season.
Yeah, she's parenting the crap out of Archie, and Fred's just been like, whatever you want, man.
Yeah, she has connections with the Naval Academy, and she called up her connection to see what she could do. Riverdale, I like what you're doing.
Yeah, I do have one problem, though, and that is that Archie could not hack it at the Naval Academy.
You don't think?
No.
Why?
He can't follow orders.
That is very true.
He would be kicked out immediately.
Yeah, the boxing, he had a line towards the end where he's like, I tried music, I tried football, what else do I have? And I was like, first of all, did you actually try those two things? Or is it something that you kind of did in proximity to other people who were doing them?
And also, my initial point still stands. You walked out of one instance of the SATs. You can take it again. You can still go to college. That it wasn't your only shot at any
I don't know.
Also, you're still a junior.
Yeah, Naval Academy, aside from the fact that he would need to learn how to take orders, I was kind of into that. That seems like something Archie's skill set could handle.
Well, sure. I mean, from like a brute force angle, absolutely. But from like an actual logistical angle, he would...
Well, and he's like a little bit more sophisticated than... Well, I don't want to get into like insulting people. I was just going to say, I think the Navy's a good place for Archie.
Sure.
He was competing in a boxing match, and he wasn't supposed to, or there was 2 of them, and then Veronica was there because she needed to diversify her portfolio, and Mad Dog was also there, but then he lost the fight, and then he passed out because he didn't eat anything in a week.
Yeah, he was trying to drop 6 pounds, which is a lot.
Yeah, so... That was Archie's story this week.
Well, he also kind of got back together with Veronica.
Oh, right. Where the fuck is Reggie? I mean, is he still...
Oh, bitch, I don't know.
Like, is he still filming this movie? Like...
Was he filming The Sun Is Also a Star during this run?
Yeah, Reggie's been MIA for a while, and I mean...
Yeah, fuck me. I didn't even notice he was gone.
Yeah.
But now I'm retroactively furious. I'm like even more furious we didn't see him in like medieval prom clothes.
Yeah, because I was like, they've been shafting Kevin, but at least, and I guess him and Fangs are actually just a thing now. I kind of appreciated that we don't have to actually address that. I was like, I mean, I would like something, but also I like this world where it's just like, hey, Fangs is gay and or really likes Kevin, so it's not a big deal.
That's fine. I got no problem with Fangs and Kevin hooking up at the farm. My issue is, how come all these people left for the farm and are, like, totally entrenched in that now, but then they are also still, like, hanging out with our heroes? Like, Fangs was, like, helping Archie.
Oh, well, we've been commenting on that for the last few episodes. We're like, pick a side, Fangs. He's playing all
everybody,
angles.
Because Cheryl also was, like, I mean, she ended up dropping out, but she was, like, not willing to let go of the prom queen thing, and it's like, you can't do both.
I'm a little annoyed, but also, okay, I was excited when she was running for prom queen, because I was like, the only thing Cheryl loves more than Jason is Cheryl. So I was like, this is how we're going to get her back, back on her shit. And Edgar kind of pulled his card and she pulled back. And at first I was a little annoyed, and I was like, you know what? We've gotten a lot of Cheryl, and I believe we will continue to get Cheryl. So yeah. I'm fine if they shaft her a little bit. The prom was hilarious to me. This is just how TV works, but I was like, this was the first and last we'll hear a prom. And I was like, you need more than a week to plan a prom.
Well, there was an implication that it had already been planned for months when Betty and Jughead went to Cheryl and asked if they could switch the theme.
Yeah, but it was still news to everybody involved that prom was happening this week.
Well, sure. That is, yeah. And then pulling off, like, a medieval prom in less than 1 week is definitely a feat.
I mean, just the licensing for Tears for Fears alone.
Yeah, unbelievable. Why are you spending the money on that?
No, on actual proms, you can just play whatever you want. I just wanted I love that song.
For the show, I agree.
Yeah. Because we didn't even get any lyrics. Like, it was just I was waiting.
The riff, yeah.
Well, I was waiting for Josie to be singing, but then I was like, oh, right, we lost her.
Oh, was she, like, gone already?
I figured.
Oh, okay.
Also, I needed cherry phosphate like yesterday. I don't even care what it is. I need one.
Okay. We can find a soda shop.
That woman hopped up on the stage to, like, announce prom queen, and I was just like, who the hell is this woman? Have we ever seen her before?
Yes. Oh, shit. Oh, she was the one who was talking about the vaccines.
Okay.
Because the only reason I know that is because of Dial M for Maple. They were tweeting about it. We don't know her name or anything, but apparently she's the same woman.
Because we have the principal, and, like, that's it as far as school staff goes. So I was kind of like, huh?
Because when we lost Mrs. Grundy, that was the last teacher we ever knew.
Yeah. I don't think she really needs her own topics. I was going to say on the Veronica front, I mentioned that she wanted to diversify her portfolio by investing in Archie and the gym. Mm-hmm. She was attempting to do that, and it's one of those things where I am honestly torn. Like, part of me is like, this girl is like 17 years old, like, running these empires, and then another part of me is like, that's great, let's just do it. But there was a kind of a reveal. I thought Pops was being squirrely earlier, and he found out, he didn't say how, but he found out that Hiram, I guess, just tricked Veronica, that he still owns.
I hate it. It's so stupid. He drew up a fake deed to give Veronica to make her think that she owns Pops and Le Bon Nuit downstairs, but she really doesn't. He still does. And so in using all the money she makes to go back into the business, she's been paying Hiram somehow without knowing. That's fucking stupid. First of all, it doesn't make any sense. Second of all, it's a bad plot. And third of all, when the fuck are we going to be done with Hiram? Because I'm tired of it.
I mean, I don't know.
Evidently, he is having a boxing match with Archie next week, and it is delightful that anybody should think Mark Consuelos would beat KJ Apa in a fight, but that would literally never happen.
Yeah, moving on to Betty. As usual, so much heavy lifting, most of the interesting stuff. Yep. We ended last week with her dad's transpo van that was swapping prisons or switching his...
It's just a prison transfer man.
There you go.
His transpo van.
He was getting a new room. With a water view. With
a lake view at Hiram's apparently 5-star prison.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's privatized. That I'm on board with. I know, like, all kinds of weird shit's going on with the prison industrial complex, but the van crashed, and there were no survivors. And so, of course, we were like, Hal's out there. And Riverdale's been ridiculous since minute one, but it still is finding ways to make me like laugh or be like, Jesus Christ. Because FP had that line where he was like, there were 6 people on the van. That's the number of heads we found.
Yeah, I like that too.
And then he's like, DNA will confirm it if we can't piece everyone back together. And I was like, Jesus Christ, Riverdale.
Was this bus full of razor blades in addition to a fireball at the end?
Did Madison Montgomery like flip it? Like, yeah, I don't know. And then Betty went to see Alice at the farm, where Alice had the most basic ass tattoos. 2 of them.
Infinity symbol on her wrist.
And the arrow on the other hand. And I was like, oh God, no offense. I deeply apologize if you have those. But in my opinion, they are basic tattoos. We can still be friends. I guess just there was more stuff with the Gargoyle King and Jelly Bean. There was like a gospel and...
Yeah, well then it all ended up being like a trap anyhow.
That's where I'm at, is it's like... And this is kind of a complaint, but I have a pretty decent bullshitometer. And so it's like I'm at a point where I can just tell when they're dicking us around. So I just kind of glaze over.
Yeah.
And I was just like, the
Black Hood is obviously Hal. That hook is obviously where his hand was that he chopped off himself so that he would be identified in the crash. That's what
I wrote when they were like, we found his fingerprints. I was like, so Hal cut off his hand. But then, and maybe this is just me, going too far, looking too into it, it was like, it felt like they kept wanting us to think it was Hal at the end, but we never got confirmation. He didn't say anything. He didn't acknowledge Betty. And so I'm sort of like, well, was it? Like...
Who else would it be?
I don't know, but the rules of TV have made me be like, well... That was weird. Why was that weird? And also, did Hal want to murder Betty? I know he threatened her.
The Black Hood did.
Well, he threatened her to get her, to coerce her into cooperating.
Yeah.
But whoever that was straight up trying to, I know what you did last summer. And
yeah, for sure.
I wasn't convinced it was Hal. I accepted if it was, but you're right. We already had too few people it could be, so like removing even more people of who it could be feels like the wrong step. She barged in, as we said, and accused Ed Grevenever, and then he took his clothes off and did a little shimmy, and it wasn't. Not that I actually think this, but there is tattoo cover makeup.
I was gonna say, there's any number of ways that it could maybe not be him. But that's the other thing. When Betty and Jughead were talking to the tattoo artist guy, and he was like sandy hair and blue eyes, and she was like strangely magnetic, and I was like, that goes for Hal too.
Yeah, I was like, that's literally what I was like, okay, so you're dad. And she was like, Edgar Evernever. I was gonna say, the guy just said his back, so she should have made him take his pants off, because it could have been on his ass, but... It was the backside.
Maybe next week. We can dream.
So there was like a really fun and exciting Scream style. I Know What You Did Last Summer, kind of 90s, 2000s. I kind of missed the slasher films like that. I think they're kind of fun.
That era of slasher films was great, for sure.
It was particularly nostalgic for us, but and it's the kind of thing, as I already mentioned, we really like Scream, and I kind of was interested to see that in a serialized or televised fashion. And maybe by its very nature, it's not really doable in television form, but season 1 and 2 of Scream were decent.
Yeah,
especially one. One was good. But so and there were at least 2 bodies, because there was the Black Hood the Black Hood and the Gargoyle King. So
I think there were 4 bodies.
No, well, I meant like 2 people that we were dealing with, the Black Hood and the Gargoyle King.
Yes, they were in the same. They were in the same place at the same time.
Yeah,
100%.
But going to that, who died? What there were?
I think nobody. 4 people, but I think they were nobody.
Well, there was the guy who came and gave the message to Betty.
Did he die?
I think he was the one that was in the gym or the shower or whatever.
Okay.
And then there was some girl in a classroom.
Yes.
And then there was a headless torso in the closet.
Right. I thought there was one more, but I might have not been counting right.
Because then I don't know where that head could be, unless it's one of the heads that was in the wreck. I mean...
I'm just imagining Hal, like, orchestrating all of this with one hand and then dragging a body whilst leaving the head
I don't know.
to the school in order to torment his daughter.
Well, I feel like he did it at the school and then brought the head. Maybe he was the only one in the bus just with all these body parts. I don't know. Because, he probably wasn't driving the bus one-handed. Well, he cut his hand off after the wreck. I don't know.
Well, also, he wasn't driving the bus. There was a driver.
Oh, sure. That's what they want you to think.
It was like a prison bus.
I understand how buses that transfer people from one prison to the next.
That happens.
Work. Oh, I know, but
that's a real thing.
I was making fun of how I stumbled over it at the beginning of the episode.
Oh.
I know I've seen 2.5 seasons of Oz. I know all about it.
It's like a motorized vehicle that takes people from one incarcerated humans.
When they want to leave one permanent residence and move into another one.
So like a moving truck?
Oh, Betty had a gun.
Betty did have a gun. Betty was at the shooting range, too. Betty is not fucking around anymore.
I forgot about the shooting range. Yeah. She had a gun. And at one of my favorite tableaus, I love a, damsel, even a final girl in, a gown running. Yeah. I just think it's great, so.
For sure.
Cheryl called Evelyn Evernever the fuck out. That was pretty funny.
That was hilarious. She was like, aren't you, 30? How many proms have you been to anyway?
Evelyn's the best.
And Evelyn did not have any response to that either.
I think it's so weird that they call each other sister and brother, but...
Yeah, it's super weird since they're all married.
So,
it's
okay.
Like Mike Pence calling his wife mother. It's weird. It's fucking weird.
Well, they have kids. Not that I'm in the, mood to defend Mike Pence, but don't they have children? That makes it...
My parents had me. They never called each other mother and father. That's fucking weird.
Well, it is the use. Again, I'm not defending him. It is the usage of the word mother because it's if it was mom.
Yeah, it's just weird. Mm-hmm. So brother and sister feels like that because they're all married to each other.
Sure.
It's bizarre.
Okay, I'm good. I guess we can check in next week.
Yep, we'll be back next week.
I had to watch it on the smallest TV in existence.
Oh no, it was a pretty good episode too.
It's one of those tube, boob tube TVs. You can't even read the guide. You can't read the words and stuff.
Oh my god.
Because it was small, but then it was even presented in the widescreen because the cable box is HD. But I am at my grandmother's sitting in her empty library, so I apologize if the sound quality on my end is a little off this week, but...
That also sounds extraordinarily creepy.
Oh, it is. It was nice yesterday because everybody was here, but no, I'm the house isn't haunted, although it will be. It will be when she dies. She's coming right on back. She said she'd leave when she was ready.
All right.
So... Okay, Riverdale, The Dark Secret of Harvest House. Oh, spoiler. Wow.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Shit.
At least that's what I wrote. That's what I read on the TV. Who knows?
Oh, that's what you think you read on the TV?
Yeah, that's what I think I read. It's funny. This was a really good one. This felt like Riverdale. I think we've probably had 5 episodes this season that felt like Riverdale.
I agree.
We're not gonna hit the point any harder because we've already done it, but I fully maintain that this show cannot sustain a 20 or 22 episode order.
No, I agree. I think 16 is exactly what they need.
But this was great. We started off with a bang. My first note literally says, LOL, Hiram is going to buy Riverdale.
I know. There were so many moments where I literally laughed out loud in this episode. That was one of them when Mary had another friend from Sarah Florence.
We missed Sarah Florence last week.
We did. And she's got all of these for everything that we know, she's just a lawyer, just a regular lawyer. And she's got all these high powered friends, like the recruiter from West Point and fucking some chick that's high up in the FBI. And I just am is she friends with the president also?
No.
Not the real president, the Riverdale world president, whoever that is.
She probably knows Mike Pence, but...
Oh, God.
Mary, she'll be fine. I was going to make a comment about her being worthless, but we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. I feel like she's going to get promoted. Probably not a series regular, but I feel like we're going to see her.
I feel like she's going to just sort of take over for Luke Perry, which we still have no idea how they're dealing with his actual death. Like, I feel like Fred is going to die between seasons.
Yeah, he's away on business right now.
And I feel like his plane's going to crash or something.
I'm fine with that. Although I do sort of want them to kill him. You know,
Yeah.
I don't like this idea that Fred would have run away. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and, you know, if it happens off screen, what can you do? I want a funeral, you know, but
Right.
I do wish I was a little bit higher energy right now, but we got a lot of things in this episode. It turns out that we finally got some both farm and gargoyle reveals, but we found out, I guess, what was happening with them talking to their loved ones. A point wasn't put on it, like a button wasn't put on it, but
Yeah.
they're being hypnotized.
And made to think they can see them.
Yeah. I assumed it was drugs a la, you know, like the Oracle at Delphi or something. I figured they were pumping gas into the room.
Well, they were burning incense.
Okay.
He was burning incense for Betty.
And we found out that when Betty was, did she say 8? Yeah, when Betty was 8, she got hurt. And they did a brain scan of her. And it turns out that she has...
Well, they would have had to do, like, blood tests or something. You can't
Was a blood test?
You can't tell genes from a brain scan.
Okay,
but
I thought
also,
it was a brain
it's
scan.
kind of nonsense.
But they found out that she has M83 and H1N1 or something, which is the serial killer genes.
Those are both wrong, but your conclusion is correct.
It was something like that. That's the gist. So she has a predisposition to violence, and I think this is real information.
I don't, specifically because Polly was like, they tested all the rest of us in the family, and you're the only one, not even Dad.
And then later they were like, when I guess Betty has blocked the time she pushed Polly down the stairs, and I was like, to be fair, that bitch had it coming.
Yeah, I would push Polly down the stairs now.
Polly probably pushed herself down the stairs and like claimed Betty. Yeah, that fucking bitch. Ugh. Because that was the other thing. Because Betty would go into the hypnotism, blah blah blah, hypnosis. That's the word. And she was like confronted by Dark Betty. But then the second time it was Polly. I don't know. It was weird. But I like this. I like Dark Betty. I like that we're going here. I like the juxtaposition of America's Sweetheart. And, you know, obviously I don't want Betty to turn into like a serial killer. But I really like where they're going. And Lily is definitely skilled enough to take this character.
That's the thing. She can pull it off.
Mm-hmm. Take this character to some crazy ass places.
Yeah.
And Cole's doing. I was very tepid on him in the beginning of the show, as I'm sure you remember. And he's keeping up with her. And I love his like little curl now in his hair. He has this like his little curl in his hair.
Oh, yeah.
It's like kind of pulled forward, and it's like in is it Grease when he like swivels his hair or whatever?
Yeah. Danny.
There you go.
Actually,
yeah.
Danny and Kaneki both do it.
I was thinking of Kaneki as the blonde, but he's got that thing going on, and it really works. I've come around. If not a 180, I've done like a 170 with Jughead.
Good, because I've been on the train the whole time.
Oh yeah, we know. But I mean, I've been around. I've been fine with him for a while, but he's not taking up a bulk of the story the way he did in like. I mean, he's still the narrator, but he's not this like omnipresence.
That's true. They separate
material.
Well, because none of them are really like all 4 of them aren't hanging out a lot anymore. So it's like he's not involved in everybody's stories anymore. He's like involved with Betty and like his own stuff, and that's kind of it.
But yeah, I hope we do more with Betty with this dark stuff. I'm still unsure as to what we're dealing with the Black Hood, because we did get the preview for next week, and there was an image of the Black Hood taking the hood off and it being Hal, but I'm just still not convinced that there's not something else happening.
Well, the corner guy, he said that the whatever hand that was chopped it off itself, and I was like, yeah, we been knew.
And we're getting a patented Riverdale extra gory details where he was like, the human hand. Or he was like, did you know the human wrist has 8 different bones that would have to be sawed through? I'm like, this dude's the killer, okay? But yeah, I mean, there was that scene with the Black Hood out in the middle of the day, and I mean, that was even kind of nice to shake it up a little bit with the school bus and all that. But I don't know. I guess I just don't understand why he's trying to kill Betty if it is Hal. And
yeah, same.
I'm in a place where I feel like they're going to bring. I feel like Betty's going to bring in Hal to get rid of the Gargoyle King. It's like
that could be.
That's kind of where I'm at. And I don't think Hal would kill her that easily or for the lulz, you know?
Yeah, for like no reason.
So I'll go with confirmation, although it wasn't really confirmed. We had an accusation that the Gargoyle King is Jason Blossom.
Yeah, and his grave is empty.
It is empty.
And I remember saying that a couple of weeks ago.
Did you say it specifically for the Gargoyle King?
I feel like I did.
That sounds familiar.
I can't remember if I for sure did, but I literally screamed, I fucking knew it when they said on the show. I've
been saying that he's going to come. I was like, we're going to see him again. You don't kill off a character like that in the first episode of this kind of show and not have them show back up.
He's like that never seen eldest brother on the Royals. Where we're like,
exactly.
He's definitely still alive.
And I'm the most kind of tripped out to hear what he sounds like because we've never heard him speak. You know, like I said, we had that implication, but it wasn't actual confirmation because I do wonder. I wonder what that's going to do to Cheryl. And you know, they pulled some shenanigans with Cheryl this season. I'm fine with it to let it go, and she did snap out of it real quick.
Yeah,
and Cheryl does have like a predisposition towards dramatics, like theatrics.
That is true too. Yeah,
it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other for me. The farm stuff, though, that shit is, I'll go ahead and say, paying dividends. You know, I had high hopes, and it was a good reveal that I didn't see coming, but when they were sitting down at the table talking about, like, having their pain. Like, not, like, localized, and then having it removed or something, and I was like, what? And the second Kevin showed his...
literally... Even before that, literally when they were like, you know, my back was sore for a little while, I was like, they're fucking harvesting their kidneys. I was like, there's no way it's not anything else.
And actually, he didn't show it. Betty did it, and he got mad. Kevin's been pretty worthless this season.
Kevin is, like, I think the biggest casualty of this season, because Cheryl has snapped out of it pretty easy, and Tony snapped out of it pretty easy, and I think Fangs doesn't really matter one way or the other.
And Cheryl wasn't in it the whole time. Kevin was an earlier convert.
Yeah.
Fangs is just a tennis ball bouncing back and forth between two moving, like...
Yeah. I feel like getting Kevin out of it is going to be interesting.
Ooh, that could be fun.
Like,
deprogramming.
Unbrainwashing him. Yeah.
We need some tracker jackers. So yeah, the body, well, not snatching, although we did say body snatchers. So yeah, body snatching and organ harvesting. Didn't see that coming. I might have made a repo joke. One of us might have made a repo joke at some point this season. I can't remember, but yeah, it was nice. It was just the right amount of like crazy, like bonkers, but kind of scary, but unexpected. And like, that's something that when Riverdale really hits, it hits. Like, it's like in this great, you know, classic Riverdale. And that's what we were dealing with this.
Yeah, I'm curious about Evelyn, because she was on dialysis, which is what happens if you get a kidney transplant. So I'm wondering what her illness was.
Yeah, and she's also on the medication that prevents her from rejecting organs, so I would have a hard time believing this was all for her.
Well, that's because that's what Betty said, and then that's where she found the, like, coolers full of organs. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just sort of like, what are they actually...
Could you imagine if Evelyn is like Frankenstein?
I just wonder if, like, is the twist going to be that they're actually doing good?
Well, that's what I've been saying. And I was like, if not for all the Scientology speak, I could believe that was a twist we were heading towards. But no, yeah. I love this whole mad scientist thing. And now the farm, like the name the farm, it means more.
Yeah.
There's an extra layer there.
Yeah, definitely.
We had another plot line. It was Archie and Hiram
Uh-huh.
Well, after Hiram has decided to try and privatize Riverdale and then buy it, he's
such a loon.
So Veronica is trying to get revenge, and so she's figured out that all of this illegal shit she's been doing all this time, since her dad owns the bar, she can just set him up.
Mm-hmm.
And so she intentionally did that. And then meanwhile, Archie challenged him to a boxing match. Why did Archie do that?
To keep him busy.
Okay, so it was part of her plan.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So, Archie is going to fight a very hard Hiram in a underground.
Yeah, he's not soft at all.
Just ask all the other guys in the sauna.
Ask any guy in that bathhouse.
If he's hard or soft.
Did you see my tweet? Or did you make the same comment?
Yeah, I saw your tweet. Because I had I was 1 foot in with this episode because I could barely see the TV. So I was sort of like, yeah. So they had the match, and you were right because you made the comment last week about, you were like, in what reality is 50-year-old, he's probably 47-year-old Mark Consuelos gonna kick KJ Appa's ass.
And honestly, Mark Consuelos is pretty ripped.
Oh, sure. He probably could, and that's the thing about Archie. We talked 2 or 3 episodes ago about in what reality does he weigh 154 pounds, but then when I saw him next to Mark, because Mark Consuelos is smaller, shorter than him.
Shorter, yeah.
But I was like, Archie, KJ Appa's skinnier than I thought. He might not be the hulking mass we were thinking he was. And I mean, when
he's
you're
48, by the way.
Okay. What'd I say, 47?
Yeah, it's close, but he's 48, just for clarity.
And when you're putting him up against Camila Mendez and Lily Reinhart, I mean, they're little waifs, so he might not be as big. And for a hot minute, Hiram was kicking his ass, and then you found out he was kind of
letting it happen,
leaning into it, yeah. So, and all of this was happening while Veronica was singing the Beyonce song Daddy Issues, which you know.
Yeah, I do know it.
Because we listened to it 2 days ago. Did you recognize? Did you clock it?
I did. I was like, this is very familiar. And then she got a little bit more twang in it from the Dixie Chicks part. And I was like, fuck me. I was like, this is that song.
So I love how they're playing with us with this. And I frankly, I want more of that. I want more of the he's grabbing my business. Ask any man in this sauna how hard I am. And because I did write down a word. I wrote down a note. I don't remember why, but I just wrote down not a good enough reason to use the word discharge. So,
I didn't even clock that one. That's hilarious.
They said, I forgot what they were saying, but I was like, not a good enough reason to use the word discharge. But
yeah.
So yeah, going back to the farm, Betty found the organs, and I'm honestly surprised she didn't dump the heart out on Cheryl's bed.
I know, right?
Is that how it works? Do they just put the heart, just the open heart, in a cooler of ice and put it in a storage room?
No.
Okay.
You're supposed to. I mean, no, they do put it in coolers with ice, but you are not supposed to just keep it there.
Place it.
To immediately take it to whoever needs it.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like there's a liquid it should be in or something. I don't know. Maybe even just wrap it in cellophane.
It doesn't need to be in a liquid.
Okay.
No, sometimes they put it in a bag, a baggie, but it's, according to every medical TV show I've ever seen, it literally is just in a cooler.
Yeah.
To keep
that feels
it
wrong, but okay.
No, I swear. And then, but
I believe
not
you.
Supposed to just keep it in a freezer. You have to. They expire. It's like meat. You have to take it to the recipient immediately.
I was honestly at that point. I was waiting for vampires. I was like, come on, vampires. But so Cheryl was on board. They broke Tony out real quick. I mean, people were snapping to attention. Yep. Cheryl sacrificed herself. And then fucking Kevin. I am a little worried. I mean, I'll get over it. But yeah, Kevin and Fangs they're really risking some stuff with them, with the audience turning on them. Because they kidnapped Betty.
Yeah, not being able to come back from it.
And so now she's strapped down to a table getting gassed.
So help me, if they steal Betty's kidney and she doesn't get her fucking college tuition back somehow, I'm gonna riot.
Well, I think you can say goodbye to that money, but...
Well, the money's definitely already gone, but she could definitely sue Edgar for malpractice or something.
Well, yeah, the money's gone, and then they're going to save her just in time, and then she's going to sell the kidney for the college tuition. So the Veronica's plan worked. They got Hiram, and he's in jail now. I would say he's gone. We dealt with him. I didn't necessarily want him dead. I had a hard prediction that Hermione was going to kill him this season. Mm-hmm. I thought he was going to finally, because we've kind of dropped her the past few episodes, and I thought she was going to be in mortal danger, and I thought the show was going to position us to think that she was going to die, and I figured she was going to turn it around on him at the last minute, but he's in jail now, and I don't think he's coming out anytime soon.
No, and here's the thing with me for Hiram is I don't mind if he comes back as long as we sit him out for like a season.
Oh, it won't be a season. It'll be for 5 episodes tops, but...
Unacceptable.
No deal.
A season or nothing. He needs to be sitting out for like a while so that we forget he's a threat and we're dealing with something else, and then all of a sudden Hiram comes back in.
Mm-hmm.
That's what needs to happen. 5 episodes is not enough.
So yeah, well, that's all I have to say about this episode. Next week is the finale. It looked pretty interesting based on what I could see of the preview for next week. I almost
you'll be back with a regular size TV next week.
I almost took a screenshot of the shitty like boob tube picture to use as our picture.
You should have.
I might still. But this was a really small episode of Riverdale. No. Yeah, so we have potentially have the Gargoyle King, potentially have the mask. I hope all 3 of these things come to a head, and I hope we lose at least 2. At least 1, definitely 2. I only want 1 of these things coming out of this.
Yeah, finale. I could handle the farm continuing into season 4. I am so hard done with the Black Hood and the Gargoyle King.
Are you? I would keep Hal.
I mean, we can keep Hal if we're going to Hannibal Lecter him again. I don't want a hook hand man running around Riverdale terrorizing Betty anymore.
That depends. For me, it depends. All right, well, I think I'm good. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
I just really liked this episode. I thought it was, like you said, a return to, like, the good Riverdale. Like, back to form. It was very satisfying.
I should have looked who the writers were.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
See if things start.
Christine Chambers and James DeWile.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Well, we'll keep an eye out. So
we will.
Bye.
Bye. So I take it you liked it.
It was all worth it. All of it was worth it.
I think some things were still not totally worth it.
All of it.
But it was fine. It was fine. They really stuck the landing.
I can't even... you had even warned me. I started it late, and you were like, it's full bonkers, by the way. And I was like, that means nothing. We say that so much, and especially in like conjunction with this show. And I mean, we weren't even 4 minutes in by the time I had to pause it because I couldn't catch up. I was like, I'm sorry, what? And they did so many things that we wanted. Mm-hmm. Like, I like have tears in my eyes. This was some like season 1, midway season 2 goodness. Yeah. Just completely Riverdale is best when it's too crazy.
I agree. No, I totally agree with that. And I think that's part of my problem with so much of the season is that it started getting almost mundane.
Yeah, and we couldn't tell. I'm fairly certain we hit it in our coverage, probably in the middle, where we were like, I don't know, maybe it's being too crazy or something, but it was like, we were bored. Yeah. It was just, it meandered a little bit, and I still think that we needed to shave off a minimum of 5 or 6 episodes. I can't tell if this was a good or a bad thing, but I feel like we lost sight of a few things.
Yeah.
That, you know, while I was fine to just jump to the conclusion at the end, I'm sort of like, if we had lost a little bit of the middle muddling stuff, it would have been more effective. I don't even know. how to go about talking about this. It was frenzied. It was the pacing on this episode. It's like, this is David Benioff and DB Weiss need to watch this.
Take some fucking notes.
As to how to, like, bring everything together. And again, insane. It was insanely paced. Yeah. I was like, what? Like, I was like a cartoon sitting there like, blah, 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 blah. Like,
well, it's like, even I didn't tweet very much because I couldn't.
You couldn't.
I couldn't get to the tweet before the next crazy thing was already happening.
Just like, I don't even know how to start with the ending. Like, I don't even. It is high on its own supply right now. And
well, I was gonna say, as usual with the previous seasons, I am so stoked for the next season because that setup was incredible.
They're How to Get Away with Murdering Us. And
and again, we say it every week. Lily Reinhart is exceptional.
She is.
I don't have words for how amazing she is. That chuckle. I mean, I'm cutting right to the end. I do it all the time. That chuckle when the FBI agent was like, "I'm Chick Cooper." She just does this sort of like, there's so many things happening in it. She's like beaten down and a little surprised, but also like so weary of everything. That is Oscar worthy.
Not even an Emmy. It's Oscar worthy.
That's a chuckle that deserves an Oscar.
And the winner is Lily Reinhart from season 3 of Riverdale.
I am not joking. She is absolutely, and we've said it before, everybody thinks so. She's the one to watch out of this show. Moving forward. She is going to go very far.
Well, and everybody was great this episode. Like I said, from immediately, I was yelling at the TV. I clutched my cheeks Home Alone style, like 2 to 3 times.
Yeah.
And considering how fatigued we had been by the season, and considering how, we're 3 seasons in, that's when a show can start to flounder. We were worried. We were very worried that the best was behind us at a certain point.
Given this finale, I think we were premature.
Yeah. Well, after the Evelyn Evernever reveal, when you were shrieking, which she's still calling him Dad.
So creepy.
Like, privately. No one else was in the room, but...
Yes, no, Cheryl was there.
Well,
Cheryl or Alice were definitely there.
Well, then that's why. But I don't know. It just, like, after you shrieked at that reveal, I was like, they've still got it. They've still got it. And because the FBI agent at the end, like you already said, I got there before he did. Where I was like, oh my God. And my mom, my mom was sitting out there watching it with me. And she was like, what? I was like, he's our brother.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so... it opened with Tony at the cottage with Penelope, and I was just like, I couldn't fathom what Penelope was doing, but I was like, don't drink the tea, Tony! And,
exactly!
Oh, we have talked about how great Natalie Bolt was. I am thrilled. I am thrilled with this episode. I am over the moon that she's still alive and still out there.
Yeah.
Their villains, they have a slight villain problem that it appears they're remedying now by cycling through.
Okay, yes, that's fair. I love where she ended up and how this ended up, but like there were a couple of things in this episode that if you had given me unlimited time in my life to guess, I would have never guessed because there were no breadcrumbs. Like leading me to them, and she was one of them. And it's like, I loved it. I thought it was exactly perfect, and I loved it. But it's also, I'm like, when?
There were breadcrumbs, but it was like 2 or 3. That's not enough to discern a path. Like,
right, exactly.
There's not a thing that happened in this episode that wasn't already given to us. And if it wasn't so deliriously done, like if it wasn't so over the top and hysterically done, I would have been like, what the fuck is this shit? Are you kidding me?
No,
but
I totally agree with
everybody was firing on 11. Everybody. I mean, even KJ Apa, he just got the hell out of everybody's way. He was like, I'm gonna step back and let the girls handle this one. Like,
well, that's the thing. I totally agree with you. I would have been furious if this wasn't moving at such a clip. But it was moving at such a clip, and it was so committed, and it was so bonkers that I just was like, it's fine, it's whatever. Like you didn't show your work, but I don't really care.
Well, and again, I mean, it didn't come out of nowhere, but it's like, I don't know, in this day and age, and with social media and stuff, it's like, I don't know how to do shows like this anymore, because somebody's inevitably going to figure it out, and it's going to trend, and it's going to be on message boards, and it's like, we dealt with it with Westworld, where, you know, Evan Rachel Wood had to be like, it's not about figuring out the ending, it's about the journey, and somehow Riverdale figured out a way to actually blindside us by where we were going, and that it managed to, you know, very rarely, I don't like watching network shows anymore because I feel like they're neutered. I feel like I'm being censored. I feel like they're trying to pretend to be like they're on cable. And at no point with this show do I feel like the FCC is telling me what I can and can't see.
Well, yeah, it's like on the first place they're on the CW, so that gives them a little bit of leeway. But on the other hand, they are operating so perfectly within
it's almost like the Hays Code
standards. Yeah, exactly. It's like they get away with more stuff because people like don't know what it means, or because they are just doing it cleverly enough.
Yeah, there's a lot of implied stuff, and like I was actually going to attempt to recap this episode, and I don't think that that's within the realm of possibility for us. So I guess we'll just start talking about things that we liked and stuff. You know, and I'm having a hard time not comparing this to Game of Thrones because we're, you know, in the throes of the end.
I loved your tweet. It was very good and so true.
But seeing an ensemble like this, where they have really tested the limits, like they have tested our patience with multiple, like possibly even double-digit numbers characters, and to not assassinate any of their characters in the final, like
it's fucking wild. I mean, to be fair, this isn't the series finale, but still,
it might as well be. I mean, I could die happy, but it's Penelope's dress. Her weird see-through dress. Did you...
You know what it reminded me of? Do you know what it reminded me of? Was Serena van der Woodsen's Thanksgiving cat suit.
It reminded me of Monica Bellucci in Brotherhood of the Wolf.
That too.
But yeah, I mean, she was straight up wearing satin panties under her see-through black ball gown. And like...
What else do you want her to wear? What could be better than that?
It was so good. It was so good. And just like the color and the set dressing and the costuming was so lavish. And I mean, you know how I live for like tableaus and like women in like ball gowns running through the woods and stuff.
I was literally going to ask you, how much did you love Betty and Veronica running through the woods in their fancy party dresses?
How they have managed to be 3 seasons in and keep Cheryl a fan favorite, an antagonist, one of the sweetest characters on the show, and still absolutely insane. That is a juggling act that there's got to be...
She's still so herself.
Yeah.
She's still so Cheryl.
I mean, maybe Marcia Cross on Melrose Place, but it's like... that reveal at the end of the episode that she has taken Jason's body...
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's a lot.
Oh my God. But Madeline Petch had just the right amount of like crazed, like, we're going to go psycho with her. And I am at a place where I trust the show's ability to do that. I mean, she's going to have her brother's dead body in the attic. And they've never answered whether or not they were fucking. Like,
they absolutely were.
Oh, I know. But it's like, that's what I mean with the Hays Code thing, where I'm just like, this is insane. And I feel so bad. Like, my heart goes out to all of the teenagers who are watching this genuinely and must be fed up. Like, must be absolutely beside themselves at how insane this is. Well,
it's what we've talked about before. No teenagers are watching this show.
It's not for them. It's certainly not for them. But
this show is for us, like for 30-somethings.
It's just like I'm not even worried that I'm overreacting or like overselling.
Overselling, no.
It just like, did your episode fuck up?
Yes, like 3 times.
Okay, the CW needs to get their shit together. I don't know if it's them. I don't know if it's our Orlando, like Central Florida affiliate or whatever.
I'm not sure.
But all I saw was that Archie was gonna like fight a bear, and then it just played 3 commercial breaks in a row.
Okay, yes, that's what happened to me too. So I'm bummed. I thought maybe you would have gotten the bear fight. I mean, he clearly won, but I mean,
I don't know who it was. I felt like because it was cutting to reveal it being somebody. Because I thought it was the actual bear for a second.
I thought it was going to be the real bear too.
My mom even went, "Oh my god, it's the bear!"
Like they went and found that bear, and he's just like he's out there. He's just angry for Archie's blood.
At this point, the show has earned that.
They just went out there being like, "Are you the bear that attacked Archie Andrews?" And he finally was like, "I've been waiting for a rematch."
I'm surprised he didn't look into the camera and challenge Archie WWE style. No, it like... I would have let it happen. I'd have been like, this is a little... this is at risk of breaking the show, but I'll allow it.
It's fine.
The fatal flaw, the single least believable thing in the entire episode is that when we had the flash forward to spring break next year, that Archie didn't have 37 more scars.
Right.
Because he owns the boxing ring at this point. At least one of them. At one point, there were 2 in the mix. I have no idea.
Well, Elio owned one.
Okay.
And then now Archie owns the one, but I think they ran Elio out of town.
Yeah. There was a part in the beginning where, because again, we were going at like, it was like the start of Aerosmith's Rock and Roller Coaster, where we were like, what? But there was the part at the beginning where he comes running in and he's like, "Mom," he was like, "Veronica gave me the gym," and she's like, "What a generous gift, but what I want to know is what's going on between you 2. And I was like,
"Yeah, Mary, keep it in your pants." I was like, what is going on?
I am so thrilled. I mean, I am gonna miss Luke Perry. He was so great, but it's just like Molly Ringwald is an extra dose of crazy, like,
yeah,
because you've never been shy about thinking that she is a mediocre actress.
Yeah, she's not exceptional. I've said it before, she was a really good ingenue, but she's not like a great actress. Like she's not renowned for her acting talent.
She's no Mechaniamic, let's say that.
True story. Can we move to Alice?
I guess. You mean FBI agent Alice Cooper?
FBI informant.
Informant, okay.
It's different.
Where did that come from?
Yeah, that was okay. That honestly, my only issue is that some of the stuff came so far out of left field that I was like, oh, this may as well happen. Like the John Mulaney bit where it's like, today's already so fucking weird.
I might as well do this.
So I'm fine with it, but it's also like she fucking committed so hard to the farm. She's married to Edgar. She went all in. Like she doubled down at every turn.
She really risked losing her daughter, you know?
the good one anyway. Because Polly, I think, is for real.
Yeah.
Polly is for real about the farm.
So they didn't actually ascend, though. No, they're out there somewhere. She clunked Polly over the head with a brick, and they're running through the woods somewhere.
I think she's just with them. I think she had to ascend with them.
Well, isn't that suicide?
Well, only their clothes were still there in that room with Kevin. So, I guess they find a pile of bodies somewhere.
I guess we're not done.
Well, we're done with the Gargoyle King, and we're done with the Black Hood. So if we keep the farm, I'm fine with that.
I mean, Penelope can stay if she can stay if only for that dress. But I was going to be like, if we're really, saying things, she's earned 2 seasons of villainy just by shooting Hal.
Sure.
Like,
for sure. That was, first of all, okay, 2 things about that part, because I for sure thought that Betty was going to just shoot him in the head.
I did too. And
with no preamble.
I would have been fine with that. To the point where I'm almost disappointed she didn't.
Yes.
She did shoot him, though.
She did shoot him, but
took 2 fingers clean off.
Yeah.
He can now order whiskey in a German tavern. Gotcha.
But I think my favorite thing is that Penelope dragged him through the mud before she shot him in the head, where she was like, "You are a terrible serial killer." my favorite thing.
Well, we haven't even mentioned Chick, because I know for a fact we said in one of our earlier episodes where one of us was like, is Chick gone? And it was like, I guess?
Well, I didn't, because we didn't see him die. I just assumed he was still out there somewhere. I would have literally, again, never guessed he was the Gargoyle King.
It was sloppy. But I'll give it to him.
Well, that's the sloppy thing I have the least problem with. Because I'm just like, sure, why not? It's better than it being, one of the other parents or someone else.
I want to give him credit. The actor's name is Hart Denton, and this is one of those thankless roles. Kind of, it's not as bad as Joffrey Baratheon, but it goes in that thing. And also, I feel bad about. Oh, that didn't come out. Oops.
What didn't come out?
I was gonna say I feel bad about what I said about him in that one episode, but we never released it.
I didn't. I thought you liked Chick.
I do. No, I love him. I thought he was great, but most people hated him and thought it was like a step too far. But
I disagree.
I made a comment in one of our early episodes where I was like, I was a little bit mad because we were promised some blonde Adonis, and I was like, he's cute. Right. He's absolutely cute. Right. But I was like, he looks like a Cooper if like maybe Alice drank too much during her pregnancy. And you gasped, and I was like, was that too mean? And you were like,
not too mean. No, he is a very, he's like a very different thing. And when we found out he wasn't really Chick, it was like, oh, okay. And then now this other guy definitely looks like a Cooper, but there is zero Skeet Ulrich in him.
No. No. He was great. And this was kind of like, the show did fine by him last season, and then to bring him in for like 20 minutes this season was a little bit kind of like, but I liked the red hair, the fake red hair, and
he didn't die, right? Jughead just sort of like brained him.
I guess so. That's a good point.
He's fine. He might kick around some more.
Yes, he's out there with Penelope. I hope so. Oh my god. I hope they start sleeping together.
Oh my god. I mean, now they're definitely going to, now that you put it out in the universe, like the secret.
I can't stop. I cannot stop at worshipping at the altar of Natalie Bolt at this point.
No, she's spectacular. I mean, literally so good.
I'm trying to think if what else there was.
I have a weird philosophical question for you. Would it put you off sleeping with your boyfriend if you found out you shared a sibling?
Me? I mean, you're asking me that? You're gonna put me on the spot. It depends.
Because I don't think it would put me off.
But I mean,
they weren't raised together. They didn't know about it until they were well dating.
The correct answer is yes. I mean, people pretend to be freaked out by the end of Clueless, and it's like,
no. Stepbrother and sister, ex-stepbrother and sister? No.
But people are like, it's so gross. So it's like, spare me your middle-class morality. You know what I mean? But it's weird.
I just am, to me, I mean, it's weird, but I don't know that it would put me off.
We're dangerously close to Once Upon a Time, I'm My Own Grandpa territory with this show.
Also fair.
But it suits the show. It suits the tone of the show. And they don't share any actual genetic material.
Not with each other.
Yeah.
Betty and Jughead not with each other, but there is now a man that they have looked on with their own eyes that shares their DNA.
It's definitely weird.
Because it's like one of those things when like on shows where like there's like two single parents start dating when their kids are already dating, and people always make that really weird too, and I'm like,
It's really not. I mean, it's the kind of thing I wouldn't talk about. I
wouldn't like bring it up first when I met people. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Because I wonder if that's going to have any repercussions next season.
I think they're going to gloss over it in true, like, Cavalier Riverdale style. I think there'll be some, like, aside.
Okay.
Hopefully.
I think Cheryl's going to say some shit.
I can't even imagine where they're going to go.
She doesn't have a
Cheryl.
Leg to stand on.
No, she does not. She'll say it from the lap of her dead brother lover. Like, and Tony's not going to take this well.
That's true. What happens when Tony and Nana Rose find Jason in the attic?
So Nana Rose is just pretending to be demented, like to have dementia, right?
Well, I think Penelope was drugging her.
Oh. They did come
moved in Thistle House with Cheryl.
They did come straight out and just say that Penelope is, in fact, Poison Ivy. And, the only word I have is method, and that's not what I mean. But her logic, her reasoning is sound.
Yeah. Her motive.
Motive, there you go. That's the word. It's fine. It's a little bit kind of like you were mean to me one time decades ago, but I mean, people that can fuck people up, weird nun shit. Yeah, I can.
Well, and we definitely can't claim that there hasn't been enough shit to fuck Penelope up. Being sold to the Blossoms, being married to her adopted brother,
child bride. Yeah,
yeah, all of this shit, and then there's reason for it for sure. I just wish it was a little more lampshaded than I would have liked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but that's it.
But I mean, yeah, whatever.
Because I liked her as like a medium, like town, like level villain.
Absolutely, and I'm a little bit nervous to lose that. I don't want to lose her, and certainly not yet.
Yeah,
but the ambiguity was always nice, and Natalie walked the line really well.
Yeah.
And I do just love her the Blossom women's relationship with the Cooper women. I think it's so great. And do we mention Betty's dress? Like
the pink?
Yeah.
It's so good.
God. Who were her minions? I mean, there was a part in this show where it was like Avengers Endgame. Like
there was like a battle.
Yeah.
With Cheryl and Tony and the poisons and the serpents on one side, and then
running Penelope's to meet in the middle, and like
Penelope's gargoyle minions on the other side.
Cheryl was killing people.
She was doing archery to save her life, literally.
Yeah, in her Red Riding Hood cloak. Like, oh my God. I'm trying to think. I know that I'm forgetting some stuff.
Hiram. We didn't talk about Hiram.
He framed Hermione for murder. That's a problem for me this season.
I mean, Hermione did do murder, but still.
Yeah, but not like he framed her for trying to murder him, and she wasn't, and I want her to. And I think Hermione was a victim this season. I don't think Marisol Nichols or Hermione really got anything. I agree. Hoping they have something planned for her next season.
Me too. Also, it looks like my hopes that Hiram will sit out a season or so are not going to come
they're
through.
not.
I'm so pissed.
Yeah.
Like who are these what are these people thinking that they think Mark Consuelos is like their big gun?
I mean,
like, he's fine.
I get your issues with him, but I also think that there are plenty of people who don't have any issue with his villains. So
I mean, fine.
Maybe I prefer guest star to series regular.
Yeah,
but
same.
They could pare down. Is Kevin salvageable? Kevin's salvageable, right? We can get him back.
Yeah, I guess maybe because they left him
with some good material in the front part of next season.
Yeah, because he didn't get to ascend. Maybe he'll either see the flaws in the farm or he will double down.
What the fuck was Edgar gonna do to Betty?
Give her a lobotomy?
It looked like he was taking her face off. The dashes around her, because Mom was
was it all the way around? I only saw it on her forehead.
Around. Well, it might have been only her forehead, because Mom was like, is he going to try and take her brain? It was like, and they even made a Frankenstein joke in this one. Yeah.
To me, when he got interrupted, it looked like he was doing like old school trepanation.
Maybe.
Like to make her docile.
Yeah, I'm going to go with like face off or something.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Give
it to Evelyn.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they killed off Betty Cooper but kept Lily Reinhardt? I am honestly worried about my favorite character in all of Riverdale, Fangs Fogarty. The him and Kevin thing, I feel like I was just like I got a glimpse of heaven and now they've taken it away from me. Like,
also, boy, has that joke paid dividends. You not knowing who Fangs was.
Who the fuck is this guy? Yeah.
You did get raked over the coals that time last season.
I really did. But I'm also kind of amazed at how many people we still haven't played. We're like so out of time, but this is also kind of a season
wrap up.
I'm amazed how many people we lost, and I'm amazed how many people we still have. And the little montage, actually, I was for it. Like, when they introduced Chick, I was like, how the fuck are we gonna make Chick? How are we gonna make this make sense? And they remember that time that Ben came to visit him, and we were like, what the fuck is going on here? Because I just thought he was gigoloing out of the Cooper house. And
same. I mean, and he was, but he was also, spreading the good word of griffins and gargoyles.
And I'm kind of like, did they really have this back then?
Maybe. That's the thing, is I never thought they had such a long game plan, but it does feel like they did, unless they got to the end and were like, this would be perfect. Cut together those clips.
We doubted, and they tried our patience. I'm not going to apologize too much for doubting, but
no,
I'm back on for an entire other season.
Same.
They did pull a Soul Survivors with this.
Yep.
So, and to be honest, for the first 20 minutes, I was like, they really could have put some of this information in last week's episode. I was like, it didn't need to be so ham-fisted in the last episode. And then by the time we were done, I was like, it really did.
It was fine. It was fine.
So, can you think of anything else? You did say Hal is dead. It appears for real. I'm a little sad about that, but I'm also fine with it.
I mean, I really like Lachlan Monroe, but at the same time, Hal was bringing not very much anymore, so and it like works for Betty's character growth, so
I am also still very surprised that we just dismissed I can't remember his name. Clifford?
Oh yeah, Claudius.
Well,
both.
Yeah. Clifford is the real one. Claudius was the brother. Yeah. To bring him back to dismiss him again, that was odd. Maybe they have a triplet. I don't know. You know, we're full blown soap opera. We're in like telenovela at this point, but
oh yeah, for sure.
Is there anything else? I did stop taking notes, but
yeah, I don't think so. I was pleased overall.
What do we think we're gonna do with Fred? Or are we even gonna acknowledge it at this point?
He has to die. I mean,
I really wanted a funeral. It feels weird to dredge it up next season.
Same.
A year after this has happened. So I will be sad if it's just sort of like, ever since your dad died, Archie, like...
If anything, I feel like we'll have a montage of some funeral clothes and Jughead will voice over it in the first episode.
Yeah, and we also said, I am so serious about this, I would be okay if they recast him so long as it was one of the other 911 guys.
90210.
There you go. Sorry. Although that's apparently coming back.
It is coming back without him, obviously, but I'm just like, I don't know. Again, like I said, I'm fine with it only if it's Jason Priestley.
You're right. Okay. So you're only Jason Priestley. No Ian Ziering.
No Ian Ziering. Get the fuck out with your Sharknado nonsense. No.
So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and say we're done. I know the second I stop recording, I'm going to be like, I forgot 34 things, but...
Well, this will be sort of like what we were talking about with, I want to say, like, Endgame. It's going to come up in some stuff.
Oh, for sure.
Going forward, so...
For sure.
All right, well, as always, you can follow us on Twitter, @SoI'mWatching, Instagram, @SoI'mWatchingThisShow. We are also on Facebook and Tumblr, So I'm Watching This Show. Do you want to add anything to the Spotify playlist?
Oh, God. No.
Were there any good songs?
No, there weren't. Although the score was like in top form this
there
episode.
Was like according to Twitter, there was a Billie Eilish song, and she's apparently a big deal. Right
I
now.
need to get into her.
Yeah, and then as always, please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen, and YouTube.
All
right, bye.